This is the Viking. This last weekend, the Wichita Public Library hosted Spooky Stories for Grown-Ups. I had two pieces that I read to the audience. First is called Lightning Men, and the second is Apart from the Dark Cry of Aristid. So for Halloween, a couple very special quick episodes. Enjoy. My name is William Bryan Johnson, and this is The Lightning Men. This is based on a true story. I'm scared. I'm young, about 10 years old, and it's thundering outside and the thunder is crawling, getting closer. The seconds between light and thunder disappear. I'm trying to watch Buck Rogers, but the weatherman keeps interrupting. He's announcing a tornado threat, which puts me even more on edge. A couple years ago, the campsite we were at was almost hit, and I looked at that monster as it passed in the distance. I don't want to hear Jim O'Donnell or the weather bell that our TV station uses to tell me another one's here. Suddenly, everything outside turns bright white, followed by a weird crackle whistle like something's incoming, growing louder as the atmosphere literally explodes. The thunder strikes and rattles the house and windows. Then everything goes black. My dad goes from reclining and half asleep in his chair to standing at the window, looking out. I can see him in the lightning. That hit the church, he says. Come on. With typical Kansan wanderlust, we walk outside to see where the lightning struck. We're plainspeople. We're bold in that way. It's pouring outside. My mom, my dad, and I are standing in the old covered porch, looking out, trying to see any damage. My parents gawk and point at the church steeple across the street. I'm looking at the tree-lined park next to me. Lightning's going off like an old strobe machine. The thunder is interrupting itself in constant. But within bursts of light, I see something. Out in the dark. It's untrustworthy, but the milliseconds of flash, something's there. Well, my father says, it doesn't look like the church guy hit. I wonder if it hit one of the trees. Lightning flashes further away, but for a brief second about 100 yards from the house, someone is standing there behind the trees. A person in a dark coat and glasses, staring back at us. Dad, I ask? Yeah. There's someone out there in the park. I point to the tree. He squints into the rain-soaked darkness, and I hope for another flash of lightning. Then the power comes on. The church and our house's floodlights blast on along with the streetlight struggling to come back. We're blinded for a moment. There's light and sound everywhere. Mom runs in to call my aunt. I'm scanning every tree that's in the park. The church floodlights shut off, and ours follows. Lightning flash. Dad, there! I point to a tree further off in the park. Did you see it? No. He shakes his head but stays outside. The sodium lights of the park cast that old plastic yellow glow, causing old shadows that my brain struggles to work with. I scan the park, and with each moment of lightning, I'm working against the speed of light to see something and failing as the lightning is moving further away. The rain stops. Dad knows how storms scare me, but since the tornado barely missed us years ago, it's less. He stands there for a while, his fist on his lower back. After a while, he tries to stretch and groans, but I know standing there hurts his back. If you see it again, yell. He finally says and goes back inside to the comfort of his recliner. I stay outside, watching in the sodium light wash over the park and hoping to see the strangers one more time while I secretly wish I don't. The storm moves away. Lightning lights up the horizon, and the summer sounds of bugs and frogs return. I'm still out there when the news comes on. Dad calls me to come inside. Maybe it's the want to find the lightning men that drove me into storm chasing. I'm an idiot that's been nearly struck by lightning a couple times. My dad said it was that tornado that changed me. I was afraid of storms in the dark. I got a lot of both that night, and he thinks it overloaded me. He thinks that something popped in my brain, like a bad circuit. I never saw the lightning men again. My fear of storms changed and became an obsession as I chased him, much to my father's dislike. Decades later, I find myself at the hospital with my mother. She has terminal lung cancer and her time is nearing an end. She's sick and hallucinating. She's watching things on the wall as I talk to her. I try to bring up memories and take her impending sense of waiting away. She laughs but says little. And when she does, not much makes sense. She raises in the bed and looks at me in an odd moment of clarity. Remember the time, she says, between puffs of oxygen? We were on the porch, and you saw those men in the trees? Yes, I reply. They wore long coats. You couldn't see their eyes. Yeah, I think they had sunglasses. They weren't wearing sunglasses. She coughs and waits for a minute to catch her breath. I want her to clarify. They have the shiniest onyx eyes I've ever seen. They're huge. She takes a couple breaths. Her sickness manifests in sighs and gulps. Brian, she says, they're everywhere. Happy Halloween.